Hello everybody and a warm welcome to our channel English Grammar with Ameya sir, and I hope you are absolutely fine and fit wherever you are. Continue to take good care of yourself. And what's up for today's lecture? Well, in the last lecture we had finished a chapter for the 9th standard, The Necklace. It was a wonderful chapter. I'm sure you enjoyed it. And today I have a very interesting grammar topic for the lecture, which is a general topic, so it will be helpful for all the grades, all the standards, and state board, CBSE, everyone alike. So I am sure that this is for a wider audience. The topic for today is has, have, had. This is a very important topic, guys. The words has, have, and had. They are auxiliaries, they're helping verbs, they show possession, and they do a lot other things. So in this lecture we are going to study what are the uses, how are they used, what are the common mistakes. I will also discuss some interesting observations with you, some areas where even the scholars, students, they go, even good English speakers go wrong at times when it comes to has, have, and had, their usage, that is. And I remember that in the last lecture we had discussed about determiners, but we had not done an exercise on determiners. So my idea is pretty simple for this lecture. We will start with our topic has, have, had. We will have a detailed discussion about it, and towards the end of the lecture we will do an exercise on determiners. So those who have not attended or watched that particular lecture, I would recommend sincerely that you go ahead and watch that. We just did the types of determiners. In today's lecture I will provide sentences and ask you to spot the determiner and then identify its type as well. So without any further delay, let's get started straight away with the topic at hand, which is has, have, and had. Let me bring myself in the frame. Yes, I am there in the scene now. So has, have, and had. So what are the tenses that they basically refer to? When it comes to has, have, and when it comes to had, their tenses are as follows. Has and have will show the present tense, and had shows the past tense. Very important, guys. Has and have, well, they both show the present tense, and had shows the past tense. So always remember, when you have the use, whenever the word has and have are used, it is the present tense. Whenever you have the word had, it is the past tense. Well, that's a basic distinction. There is of course something more to that, but this is the very basic to begin with. If you have has, if you have in the sentence, it is present tense. If you have the word had used in it, it is past tense. So that's the basic broad distinction between the two. What's the next one? Let's see what's next. You have the singular plural now to consider. So has, have, and had. How are they governed? Consider has first. Has is used for a singular subject. For example, she has a lovely car. She have a lovely car will be incorrect because we are talking about a singular subject. Because we are talking about one girl, she. So this particular lovely car, okay, she has a lovely car. It will be incorrect to say she have a lovely car because of the singular subject. I want to point out that car or cars doesn't matter here. Okay, even if there is more than one, you will have to say she has lovely cars, but it's still she has. Very important that we are talking about singular subject. We are interested in the subject being singular here. Point noted, guys. Let's consider have now. Have is used for a plural subject. So they has a lovely bungalow is ridiculous. They have a lovely bungalow. Mind you, the spelling of bungalow is Bungalow. Because it is a plural subject, we have used have. Because it was singular subject earlier, we used has. So I definitely want you to make a note of this. Singular subject is when we use has, of course, for the present tense. I've told you that, do not forget that. And have is used for a plural subject, again, of course, for the present tense. And I don't think I should give you a separate countdown timer for this. I think it's very clear that it's just basic. So we will move on to the next slide. If you want, you can pause the video. Okay, let's talk about had now. Had is used for singular and plural both. Well, that's the very basic fundamental difference between has, have, and had. Has is for singular, a singular subject. Have is for a plural subject. Yeah, and in case of had, well, we use had for both singular as well as plural. So I'm sure that the example I must have considered is going to be pretty interesting, related to what we saw earlier. There we go. I thought so. She had a lovely car. They had a lovely bungalow. So irrespective of whether it's a singular subject or a plural subject, had just remains constant. This is a very important point to note, guys. Very important. What did I just say? Had is very common. Had is used both for singular as well as plural. But when it comes to present tense, then there is a distinction. Has for singular and have for plural. Point to be noted. That's why I took the same example of the car and a lovely bungalow. Again, the spelling of bungalow, very important. What's next? Again, I don't think I should give you a minute to note this. You can pause the video and make a note of it. So here is now a quick summary of what I want you to remember when it comes to has, have. Let's get started. I have. Never ever can you say I has. I have. Okay. What's next? You have. It cannot ever be you has. You has come. No, you have come. Okay. Next, they have. It can never be they has. I repeat before we proceed to the next column. I have. You have. They have. You can never use has in these cases. Now, he has is correct. Now, in this case, he have will be wrong. He has. What's next? She has. Next, it has. So for he, she, it, you will use has, as mentioned earlier. I is the only exception where it's not a plural, but because it's the first person singular, we use have. Just remember this. The summary is very important. Finally, we have we. We have. So if I ask all of you, have you understood whatever has been told so far? You will say we have understood, not we has understood. Let's go through that one more time before proceeding to the next. For this one, I'm definitely going to give you a minute to jot down the details. So what is it? I have, not I has. You have, not you has. They have, not they has. He has, not he have. She has, not she have. It has, not it have. Finally, we have, not we has. So I'm sure that you might want to make a note of this. I'm going to give you just a minute, not a couple of minutes. I think a minute should be fine. So your countdown starts and I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, under 10 seconds. Sure you are done. Okay, that's it. The time is done, and I'm sure you're done with whatever was required. Now, why we are doing this, guys, is very important. In the 9th standard Kumar Bharati textbook, Unit 1.4, we talk about the state board, higher level English. 1.4, the Unit 1.4 is dedicated for this has and have thing. That's why I decided to do this topic, but it is such a general topic that it applies to all. That is why later there will be an interesting exercise that shall follow, because we are going to study some basic rules and observations, and I have no doubt that if you have listened to each and every point up until that point, you will score full marks there. Let me know in the comments if you did score full marks indeed. What's the next one here on the slide? We have to keep the following things in mind. So now on to some important observations and points to discuss. Always use have with does. Guys, whenever you have, the pair should always be have with does. Does he have any chance? You cannot say does he has. Does he have? If you are using does, has to be have. Okay. Does she has a pencil? No. Does she have a pencil? Point noted. Next one. Always use have with I, although it is singular. I think we deliberated on this point in the last slide, I suppose. I is the only exception where it is not a plural. It is first person singular, but with I, we always use have. Next one. Be careful with the nouns such as police. Use have. Guys, it's a very common mistake. Very common mistake. The police has arrested the thief. Wrong. The police have arrested the thief. That is correct. Police is to be taken as plural because all the policemen or police personnel together, they make the police. So the police have arrested is correct and not police has. If you want to refer to one, then you can say the cop, singular, or you can say the policeman or the policewoman or the police constable or whatever you want to say. Then you can refer to it as singular and then you are free to use has. But if you just talk about police in general, then it has to be the police have and not the police has. The police have issued a statement, not the police has issued a statement. It's a very important point to note. Many people will make this mistake, might make this mistake. The police have. Okay, I'm sure you have understood that. Next one. There can be ing form only to have. There is having, but there can never be having or hasing. That's interesting, is it not? Even the concept is pretty interesting. Have you ever noticed this? Of course. Have has got the ing form. So you have having. I am having my breakfast. She is having her breakfast. They are having their breakfast. But the ing form can only apply to have. You cannot have hasing or hadding. That's not possible. So point to be noted, no scope for any creativity there. Only have carries ing. There is no hasing, there is no hadding. Sounds also ridiculous, doesn't it? Next one, only been can be used with has, have, had, not being. Now if you wonder why is there a lot of red color in my presentation, so I can't help it. Red is my favorite color. That's why you see a lot of red color. But anyway, the point is you use been. B-double-E-N, been. You cannot use being with has, have, had. Point to be noted again. B-double-E-N, been can be used with has, have, had. You cannot use ing being with have, had, and has. You cannot do that. Okay. I think this deserves some time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, not just to write them down. I suppose it will be a great idea for you to memorize them as well. So take about 2 minutes and jot them down, and not just jot them down but try to memorize them quickly. I'll be with you at the end of this countdown. Okay, under 10 seconds. The time is up. Well, by the way, I hope that you remember what I had asked you to do, not just to jot the points down, but also to memorize. Now, before we proceed, there's something interesting I want to share with you regarding the homework. In the last lecture, the homework I assigned to you that I gave you was to write a letter asking your friend or your cousin who lives in some other city about how they are spending their time at home during this COVID-19 pandemic. The couple of my girl students have expressed severe concerns asking their friend or their cousin about how they are managing their what can you say, personal care, because the girls are not able to visit their salon or spas or their beauty parlors. So I was quite intrigued by that, because again, I'll say, in their world it's quite serious. You can see the hair is all messed up, I know, I agree, but well, in the feminine world it's quite serious. So I was really intrigued by the fact that almost a paragraph was dedicated to asking their cousin about what she does as far as the personal hygiene related to beauty is concerned. However, in the exam, don't keep it a paragraph just for that exclusive purpose. Something interesting. Well, the others who have not done that homework, I'm still waiting. And oh yes, there was this other homework I gave you in the other videos about the silent M. And there have been people who have also been saying or doing a WhatsApp message to me like, is there a word with silent M? Well, yes, there is. I will provide you one word with silent M today. The homework was 2 words and I will provide you with one. You should have googled them. But there were people who were impatient enough and they said that we have never heard of a silent M. I will give you one example today in this lecture. And well, of course, be kind enough to come up with one more. Okay. Just some interesting things to bring you up to date, and let us proceed now. I think this was the slide that we just dealt with. The next one is their use. So how to use has, have, had. We already seen the use of has, have, had as far as the tense is concerned. Then we saw the singular, plural, and now how to use them in a sentence. The first and the most primary use is that they are used as an auxiliary verb or a helping verb. We will study some examples. We will study, in fact, each point in detail. At the moment, I'm just telling you the points. Second, they are used to show possession, plans, or events. That is the second use of has, have, had. And lastly, but not the least, they are used to frame questions, interrogative sentences. Well, in a way, this is related to the first one, I must say. The first and third are quite related. These are the basic three uses of has, have, and had. What are they? I'll say it again. They are used as an auxiliary verb. I repeat, they are used as an auxiliary verb. Second is they are used to show possession or plan or event. And lastly, but not the least, they are used to frame questions, interrogative statements. And I said that the first and the third one are almost similar. Now, I don't think we need to get extra time specially to jot down just these three sentences. You can pause the video now if you want to do it, and please allow me to proceed to the next one. Thank you. Used as a helping verb. So now it is here that we will start studying them one by one. So how are they used as a helping verb or an auxiliary? Well, guys, many a times I have told you that you should be careful with the spelling of auxiliary. It's auxiliary, helping verb. So what is a helping verb? What is an auxiliary? So here it is. Take a look at the following sentence. I'll read it. He has finished his homework. He has finished his homework. Here the main verb is finished, and the word has is a helping verb that makes this sentence meaningful in the present perfect tense. So has with verb makes it the present perfect tense. Let me come on cam for this. Has or have with the verb makes it the present perfect tense. Had with the verb makes it the past perfect tense. Let's get back to that sentence again. What is the interesting observation there? The observation is finished. The action of finishing is the main verb there, is it not? To finish. What's helping that is the verb has. That's why you say that they are auxiliaries. They are helping verbs. So he has finished his homework, and this is the present perfect tense. So has plus verb, have plus verb is present perfect. Had plus verb will be past perfect. And it is for this reason that for the very first time now I'll take you to our notepad. So let me bring up the notepad. Here it is. So my point number one to study today is has plus verb is present perfect tense. Also have plus verb is present perfect tense. However, had plus verb, it's always the V3, by the way, the participle becomes the past perfect tense. I repeat that these verbs I'm talking about are the past participles, the V3 form. Okay, please jot this down very quickly. Has plus verb is the present perfect. Have plus verb is the present perfect. Had plus verb is the past perfect, and by verb I mean the participle form, the V3 form. You can pause the video if you still need more time. For the moment, I will continue with the lecture. Let us go to the next slide then. The second point was used as a possession, event, or plan. Guys, this is very important. I'll tell you why. This point is very important because later in today's lecture, I am going to deal with a very important point about how students get confused with the question tags. Sometimes when it's has, the question tag is not hasn't. It becomes doesn't. When it's have, it doesn't always become haven't. It becomes don't. So what are the rules governing those? And to understand that in detail, I think the next slide is important for you. So let's see what we have in this slide here. I'm saying it's important. He has two sisters. Consider the first example. That's a possession. He has two sisters. So they are three siblings. What are they? They are three siblings. So he included, okay. He has two sisters means they are three siblings. What's next? The municipality has 6 vans and 2 cars. Guys, this is an important word for you to understand. It's not municipality. It's not municipality. It's municipality. The spelling is also municipality and the pronunciation is also municipality. It's not municipality. Municipality. It's municipality. It's very important not to mess up the sound. This word reminds me that I believe in one of the spell check videos on our channel is where I think I've covered this word. Leave it in the comments if you have gone through all the 3 spell check videos so far. Back to the slides. So it's a possession. The municipality has. Do you have a cycle? The question. Do you have a cycle? It's a possession. It's interrogative as well. That's why I said that the points are related. Okay. They have a pet dog. They have a pet dog. It's a possession. They have a pet dog. Again, I don't think we need extra time for this. This was the second use of those has, have, and had to be used as a medium to show possession, event, or a plan. How do you show a plan, by the way? A better example for that is I have a meeting to attend. I have a meeting to attend. So it's not that I have the meeting on a platter or something. It's a plan. It's an event. I have a meeting to attend. It's important. I cannot miss it. I have a meeting. I must attend it. So that is the way you can incorporate plan there. What's next? I have 200 shares of the ABC Corporation. Well, as someone who is into stock market, I couldn't resist myself from such an example. I have 200 shares of the ABC Corporation. So I have, again, it's a possession. I have 200. I have acquired, I have purchased, I have bought. I'm in custody of 200 shares of the ABC Corporation. Again, possession. I don't think there's extra time needed for this. Let's proceed to the next one. Now, the last point we talked about is framing question or making interrogative sentences. Guys, before I read it, I want to tell you that whenever there are sentences, especially questions or of a medium size and length, they're sizable, not very short, use them as practice lines. I repeat, use them as practice lines. So you hear me say them, is it not? Try to practice them. Look at the mirror, see how you sound. Record it in your cell phones. Make good use of the technology. See if you can say it in one fluent manner. Or do you stammer? Or do you unnecessarily take a pause? You know what I mean? So whenever you have any sentence that I say, even when I'm explaining a lesson, you can do that. Watch out for such lines that will help you become fluent with the language. So what's on this slide? You have such a sentence. Could I have a glass of water, please? Imagine. Could I have a glass of water, please? Imagine you are parched. You're very thirsty indeed, and you knocked at someone's door, or maybe you see someone who has a water bottle. You just pop up this question, and you do it very fluently. Could I have a glass of water, please? Nice. Could I have a glass of water, please? Could I have that? Can I have good water? No. Keep it simple. Could I have a glass of water, please? Absolutely brilliant. If you can say it fluently and ask it in a polite manner, helps. Does help. Next one. What do you have? Did you have a good time at the wedding? Nice. Of course, everybody has good time at others' weddings. There's food, there's dance, there's fun. Did you have a good time at the wedding? I repeat, did you have a good time at the wedding? Nice. Next one. Has the teacher given any homework? Has the teacher given any homework? When it comes to me, you can't grumble about a lot of homework. There's very little homework that I give you. Has the teacher given any homework? So fluent. Imagine you're on a call. You missed a lecture, maybe an online class even. You call up your friend, you want to ask what happened today. Finally, you will pop up this question. Has the teacher given any homework? Has the teacher given any homework? Look at the power of fluency. If you can say things fluently, it will immensely help you build a much better vocabulary, build your confidence, and people will love listening to you. That's very important. Do we have some more examples for questions? So yes. Now this is also interesting. Had she called you regarding the schedule? Nice. Again, had she called you regarding the schedule? Had she called you regarding the schedule? Is there a call made? Did she do that? Nice. Again, I changed the slide because, well, I don't think we needed extra time for that. Now for interesting observations. However, you can pause the video, go back and pause the video if you wanted all the 4 lines for practice. Okay. Now, interesting observations. What are my interesting observations which I want to share with you? When have is used as a possession, using the present continuous tense is incorrect. Guys, for this one, I'm surely going to give you at least a minute to jot down at the end of this slide. Okay? What did I just say? I said, when have is used as a possession, using the present continuous tense is incorrect. Before I proceed to my example to expatiate on this point, observe the spelling of continuous. Guys, important. C-O-N-T-I-N-U-O-U-S. It ain't C-O-N-T-I-N-O-U-S. It's N-U-O-U-S. If you are careful, attend my lectures regularly, you will really save yourself from many of the embarrassing mistakes that generally people make. So before I go to the example, let's read this rule one more time. What's my interesting observation? What's the rule to remember? When have is used as a possession. Remember, we have seen the examples of possession. Remember that line? They have a lovely bungalow. Remember that line? So when have is used as a possession, using the present continuous tense is incorrect. And what I mean by that is following. You will never say, I am having a bicycle. Imagine that. I am having a bicycle. No, I have a bicycle. Guys, it's very interesting, is it not? I am having a bicycle. No, 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 no. I have a bicycle. I am having. I told you, I think I gave you a very interesting example. We talked about having breakfast. I am having my breakfast. So that is used for consumption. I have a bicycle. If you had it, you always had it. So never say I am having in the present continuous tense. That's incorrect. Another such interesting example will be I haven't a cold or something like that. I'll expatiate on this with another example later. Let's proceed with the next point. At least I forget the next point. The next point I want to make is when have or has is used as a negative, they cannot be the main verb. Guys, they cannot become the main verb. What did I just say? When have, has is used as a negative, they cannot be the main verb. What do I mean by that? Observe the example. He hasn't a car. Oh, this is the example of I haven't a cold. Beautiful. Okay. So, but first this example. He hasn't a car. You will never say that. He hasn't a car. He does not have a car. So you cannot make that a main verb if it is in negation, if it is negative. And I was giving you this lovely example of I haven't a cold. You cannot say I haven't a cold. I do not have a cold. Fit and fine. I don't have a cold. Very important, guys. Now for this one, I sincerely suggest that you actually take a minute, maybe 2 minutes. As usual, you just don't have to write down the points, but you also have to memorize them. Let me give you 2 minutes for this one, and I'll join you again at the end of these 2 minutes. Okay, enjoy the music, do jot down and see if you can memorize both the rules. There are 2 rules here. The time starts now. Okay, under 10 seconds. Okay, and so your time is up. I'm sure that you did the needful, and not just that, but you have the rules by heart by now as well. And now the correct question tags, guys, this is very important. You know, when we do the lessons, I tell you, give me your 100% undivided attention. Well, now it is this slide here that I want your undivided attention. The 10th standard especially, you're going to appear for the board exams. This is very important for question tags, not just the SSE board, even CBSE, ICSE, everyone. Because even scholars go wrong with this. They see has as the auxiliary, they use hasn't. They see have and they make the question tag haven't. It's not always just the negative. There is a point to remember. So let us study that in detail. I have no doubt that you would love this. Okay. The first thing, if used as a helping verb, that is the present perfect tense, the question tag is then very simple. What you normally do? What do? You change has to hasn't, have to haven't, and had to hadn't. Guys, again, if used as a helping verb, the question tag is very simple. If used as a helping verb, has changes to hasn't, have changes to haven't, had changes to hadn't, the way you normally do it. So if used as a possession or to show possession, remember we discussed this point a few slides earlier, then the question tags become as follows. Has changes to doesn't. Now be careful with the spelling of doesn't. Often I've seen students make a silly blunder. Instead of DOES, they in hurry write down DOSE and become some kind of a medical dose. It's not doesn't, it's doesn't. Just be careful you don't interchange. So has changes to doesn't, have changes to don't, and had changes to didn't. And I'm sure you remember this discussion on didn't. The second D is not silent. You don't say didn't, it's didn't. So let us do it one more time before we study some examples. I might take you to the notepad if you don't have the examples here on the slide. I said if they are used as a helping verb, that is in the present perfect tense, that is a helping verb and a proper verb, then the question tags are very simple. You simply change has to hasn't, have to haven't, and had to hadn't, what you normally do. But in case they are used to show possession, I think this is where you should double underline or make a note of it. Then has changes to doesn't, have changes to don't, and had changes to didn't. An example, look at this. Lovely example. She has a pretty doll. Ooh, again, yeah, nice. In the feminine world, it's important. She has a pretty doll. Hasn't she is wrong here. It's incorrect because has is used as a possession. So she has a pretty doll, doesn't she? Guys, this is a very nice point and a very subtle one. S-U-B-T-L-E, subtle. Very clever, very important. You might miss it. Just because you had the word has here, it doesn't just change to hasn't. She has a pretty doll, doesn't she? It's a possession. She has a pretty doll. So it's not used as a helping verb. Very important. Now I'm going to check if there are more examples. Yeah, there are. I'm lucky. So I might not take you to the notepad if you have enough examples. But before that, well, I'm going to give you a minute. Guys, not 2 minutes, okay? Just a minute to make a note of the things on this slide very quickly, okay? Just a minute starting now. I'll be back with you soon. Okay, the time is up, and before we proceed to the other examples, talking of doll, well, here is a very interesting assignment for girls and boys. Okay, first for the girls. The girls, because you're talking about doll, ladies first. So you tell me, as a baby girl, you have this doll. What is her condition now? It's a very interesting question. So is she still in one piece? Has her hair all come off? Is one of her arms amputated? Just tell me. It's a very interesting question. I'm sure you had a doll at some stage, girls. Okay, let me know her condition now. Leave it in the comments or whatever medium you like. I've already shared my email ID last time with you. Boys, the interesting thing for you is, we boys, as a baby boy, we always were gifted a toy car, maybe a remote controlled car. Let me know if you still have that car with all the 4 wheels intact, or is it now forced to run on 3 wheels? What's the condition now? Have the lights come off? What's the condition? It's a very interesting homework. Talking of doll, I thought it's a very interesting homework. Let me know, share your memories, guys. And now for some more examples. So here is the slide that we are now going to study, with more examples where students can get confused. Let me read the first one. The doctor has studied the samples, hasn't he? Guys, notice here has just changed to hasn't. This is the one you normally like, is it not? But why did has just change to hasn't? Because has is a helping verb. The main verb is study. So you have has with the main verb, and when that happens, has changes to hasn't. That's why I said those points are important. Has was used. Even in case of the doll, has was used. But there, she has a pretty doll is the possession. Only has. There was no main verb after that. In this one, there was has and there was a verb. Very important. Then has changes to hasn't. There's no doubt about that. The doctor has studied the samples. Good doctor. So then hasn't he? That's just the simple way it changes. Then you don't have to write doesn't. That's wrong here. Is there another example to study? Yes. I have the application form. What did I just say? I have the application form. So you have the application form, right? It's your possession, right? So I have the application form, don't I? So have will not just change to haven't. Remember, this one is wrong, because have is used as a possession. Have is the verb. Do you have any other main verb here? No. Guys, I'm sure you're enjoying this, so you will not go wrong in some tricky question tag examples by your teacher if you have listened or learned from this video properly. The third example, I have filled the application form. Now this is interesting. See, that's why I put in a lot of efforts, guys, before I give you the examples. And I want you to take a moment to appreciate that. In the second example, I just read it out. I have the application form. So there I used have as a possession, and I gave you the right answer and wrong answer. In the second one, I have kept the verb as have, but this time it is used as a helping verb. So now have will change to haven't. Okay, so let's see. Appreciate the examples, guys. Okay, now you are on the screen for where you have examples. I have the application. There it was possession, and so don't I was right. Now over here, I have filled. So have is used with the main verb here. So because you have and the main verb, now what you normally do is correct. You change the auxiliary to negative. So has, hasn't, have, haven't, had, hadn't. So that's the interesting thing that I wanted you to make a note of. I'm going to give you a minute for this. Just a minute, not a couple of minutes, just a minute. Okay, jot down the things. We will move then to the next slide. Enjoy the music meanwhile. I hope you are done. Last few seconds and the time is up in fact. Okay, so do we have more examples to study here? No. Now this is your exercise. Now you have to fill in the blanks either using haves or have. Before we do that, I would like you to come to the notepad again, because we have to study examples with had. Let me take you to the notepad. Well, this is our notepad. We studied the present perfect tense earlier. That was our first point, and now the use of had correctly. Observe this. Let's consider the example. We had a cool cricket kit. We had a cool cricket kit. So I'll write the answer later. And we had eaten. Let's consider something else. We had seen the movie. Okay. Observe the difference, guys. We had a cool cricket kit. It is a possession. Only had. Do you have any other verb after had? No. So here had is a possession. So over here it will be didn't. Didn't we? And over here you have had plus the main verb. Do you see? Had, but the main verb is seen. The action of watching. Had seen. And so over here what you normally do is correct. Hadn't we? You just change the auxiliary to the negative. I don't think we should get a dedicated minute to copy just 2 lines. You can pause the video, but I am sure the learning experience must have been interesting. Again, we saw the examples concerning has and have, but we had not considered the example of had. So I thought I'll take you to the notepad for this one. So please make a note of this. We had a cool cricket kit, didn't we? Because only had for possession was used. In the example B, we had seen the movie, had plus the main verb see, which is used in the seen form. So we just changed it to negative, hadn't. Okay, and now on to our exercise, guys. I always love this. So this is not your homework. This is your CW, your classwork. So now what is the assignment here? You'll be fill in the blanks. Had is not included here. Ask me why. Good question. Because had is common. If you remember of our initial slides, I did tell you that had is common for singular and plural both. So that's why I did not use had in the fill in the blanks here. Had is for singular and plural both. It is has and have where the confusion lies. That's why you have the assignment to fill in the blanks using has or have. Now, how we will do it is, I will bring all the questions one by one. Let me bring all the questions and then give you some time to think. Later, I will reveal the answers. You can check and leave your score in the comments. Let me take you now to the slide. Think, yeah, this is what we are supposed to do now. The first example, my parents got an old Rolls Royce. My parents dash got an old Rolls Royce. Well, that will be brilliant. You know what will be more brilliant? You getting the Rolls Royce and taking your parents for a drive. Well, that would be greater in value. Okay, next one. She dash got 2 daughters. Remember, you have to fill in the blanks using has or have, and you have to do it in your notebook. Don't just answer orally and boast about getting all answers. Please better write it down. You dash no right to criticize me. Well, I'm not saying that. It's just that it's an example. Next one. Anita dash nothing to do with this. Anita dash nothing to do with this. What do you think? Has or have? Rajiv does not dash a job. So I think we have 5 questions here, and I will give you only a minute for this. Guys, I'm going to give you only a minute for this, not more than that. So your time starts now. We'll check the answers in a minute. Okay, your time is up. Time for me to reveal the answers. But before that, let me test your confidence. Full marks? Sure, right? Sure. I'm sure if full marks there. Answers. Here are the answers. Please check and let me know in the comments if you got 5 out of 5. But by the way, it's not the end of it. Now we will move from number 6 to 10. The 10 fill in the blanks I want you to do. Pause the video. I'm going to go to the next slide now. If you want to check the answers, pause the video. The assignment continues. Number 6, where dash he gone? Number 7, you should not dash done this. Number 8, how long dash you been waiting here? 9th, the penultimate one, we dash no interest in this proposal. And the ultimate one, Mohan does not dash a girlfriend. Let's see if you can get full marks here. Your countdown begins now. We'll check the answers in a minute. All the best. Okay, the time is up, and once again I am very sure that you are going to score full marks. And here are the answers. Again, you can pause the video if you want to check the answers. At the moment though, we will move on to the next thing on the agenda. We have about 5 minutes left. We normally record the lecture for around an hour. And as agreed, now we will go to determiners. We studied their type the last time. So those who are new for this, those who haven't seen the last lecture, please see the last lecture. We studied the types of determiners, and you can take this as homework. There are 15 sentences that I will share with you, 15 of them. You have to pick out the determiner and you have to tell me its type. Okay, let's get started immediately. For this one, I will take you to the notepad. Here we are. And well, that's had we studied last, is it not? So let me go ahead and start typing it. So this is the exercise on, the determiners. The first one, you have to pick out the determiner, mind you. You have to pick out the determiner and you have to then tell me the type as well. It's very important, guys, that you do the type as well. You pause the video. This is the first one. Jot it down simultaneously so that we can save time, guys. This is the second one. The first one is, they were bored because there was little to do. The second one, we invited a few friends over to our house for a barbecue. Guys, I would really appreciate you take efforts to polish your fluency. So all these sentences are not just as your assignment for determiners, but look at how much pleasure you will derive if you can say all these very fluently. Most of the cakes had been baked the day before, a day prior, in advance or whatever. Next we have number 4, which is this one here. Sheetal didn't take many photos when she went on a holiday. Guys, Sheetal is a very rare girl indeed, I must say. She did not take many photos It's a rarity. It's a rarity, I'm telling you. What's the next one? You have the teacher gave each of the students a piece of paper. Interesting. Next one. The next one is Kapil is a studious boy. Kapil is a studious boy. As we'll see if we can do 10 for today's lecture. I said there are 15, definitely. But we'll see. Depends on the availability of time. Seventh one, every man must stand up and fight. There's no doubt about it. You got to be the hero of your own life. That's a very important point, guys. Number 8. Number 8. It's my pen. It's my pen. So number 9. We'll take a call after I'm done with the first 10. Number 9 is each team consists of 11 players. Maybe I'm talking about cricket here, who knows. Next one. Number 10. What is it? 2 is my lucky number. Fictitious. I'm not saying that. My date of birth is 2nd October. That's why maybe I came up with this line. Okay. So I don't think we should go and do 15. I think 10 should be enough. You have the exercise in front of you. You can pause the video now if you wish to copy. At the moment, I'll just bring this lecture to a conclusion. I repeat, what is the homework here? You have to pick out the determiner and you have to state its type as well. Those who have not seen the last lecture, I urge you, I earnestly exhort you to go ahead and watch that. Then you will understand this better. For now, we will bring this lecture to a conclusion. We'll stop. And please stay at home. Do not venture outside unnecessarily. Do your homework. Do all your pending homeworks. And we will meet again soon, hopefully, with the 10th standard chapter the next time. 10th standard. We will now shift our focus onto the 4th unit. I think we are through with the 3rd unit for 10th standard. Now we'll shift our attention to the 4th unit. Up until that time, well, I hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comment. I enjoyed presenting it to you. I hope you enjoy learning from me. Leave your comments and we will meet again soon. Take care.